This is Christoph Yalik.
This is Just Janet.
And this is K. Colley.
And this is
the Just Nuggets Podcast.
And the Nuggets are off to a hot start. This is the Just Nuggets Podcast. How everyone doing today?
We're good. How about you, K-Dot?
Can't complain. Just Janet checking in from the Just Nuggets Podcast. Christoph Yalik, how you living?
Living well. The Nuggets looking good. Title defense off to a good start.
Looking great, even on a back-to-back. We won on Friday night and Saturday night. We beat the Bulls last night. The Nuggets won that game 123 to 101 against the Bulls, and then on Friday the Nuggets won in their first ever NBA in-season tournament game. Might I add, they beat the undefeated Mavs. Undefeated
the once no more. Undefeated.
Yeah, undefeated no more. They beat them 125 to 114. So where would you all like to start? Would you want to start last night?
We could start anywhere. They've been hot. I mean, their record they only lost one game, and out of 7. So they have been rolling. And
to be fair, that game that they lost, to me personally,
yeah,
that was when you got murder on your mind or blood. What do they call it? Those teams were looking for revenge.
Yeah, they were. Everybody who's going to see us got it circled on their calendar.
I'm saying specifically the Timberwolves, because the Timberwolves were the team that we lost to on that Wednesday. That's the team we knocked out first round of the playoffs.
Yes.
So you knew they're coming back strong. And I will say this, before we go into the games from last night and the night before, I would say also, I think it's the Timberwolves have a size that they can use against the Nuggets. So when you're coming off of this 5 games and 7 nights that we've been going through, you can send 2 big bodies in Cat and Rudy Gobert at Jokic to make him work. And if the other guys aren't hitting shots like that, what kind of happened in that game? Right. That game can look the way it does, right?
Yeah.
And then so to me. Yes, the Timberwolves got us. We don't play them again until almost March, so it is a wash. But I think that game just kind of really showed that the Nuggets were tired, because at that point we already had a back-to-back. We had a Sunday and a Monday game. Then we went straight into Wednesday.
Yes.
So it was just, and then the Nuggets. So they've had double back-to-backs in this 5 games and 7 nights.
Yeah, and they don't play Minnesota until March.
That's what I said. Yeah, they don't play again until March.
Yeah, so it's like. That one comes out in the wash for me. And like they said, we ended their season last year. Y'all gave us our first L this year.
Yeah.
It's all good. Hopefully Tim Connolly slept like a baby that night. Yeah. I don't care.
Well.
I think more so than anything, I've been happy with how the bench has looked early.
The bench.
And when I say that still very, cautiously, and they still need to make a move. And I'm doing my fan scouting a little bit. We'll roll out throughout the season who I think would be a good fit. And as things change with through the season, because hopefully Jamal gets healthy, because that was a little rough last night. We'll get to that in a second. But I just like how they gel, and they're playing well. P. Watt's playing good minutes. CB has stepped up. Reggie's given double figures every night. Yeah. The ball movement looks fluid. That's best starting 5 in basketball. It's everything you would hope it to be, and it's good to watch your team just be formidable.
Yes.
You look around the league, and everyone's kind of getting their sea legs around him. Everybody's kind of getting into the swing of it. Like, how's this going to fit? How's this new piece? We'll get into that even in not Nuggets a little bit too. But, like, the Nuggets are the champions, and they're exerting themselves this season as
the champions,
an alpha.
Yeah,
and acting like it. What I like about them, in back to the loss to Minnesota, they were tired, no doubt, but they picked it up the next 2 games. We had 2 more games after that, and they won them both. So if you didn't doubt that that's what it was when you looked at it. And you said, they're just tired. But if you had any doubts about it, it was rectified when they played the next 2 games, and they just rolled over people.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I would say, to your point, Peyton Watson in that second unit has been huge. You have in a couple games he's had 2 blocks against the Mavs. He had a block against the Jazz, 1 block against the Thunder, and he had 3 against the Grizzlies. So and this is from the second unit. Then you combine that, as Chris said, with CB. Get Christian Brown and you have a really strong defensive second unit
you do.
that makes up for some of those moments without Bruce Brown that we have going forward. And Reggie Jackson has played actually a pretty solid game. Like even last night, I think Jackson over like 16 points on the bench. So you're talking about a really strong defense with a little bit of offense. And to your point with Jamal being out, when Jamal is in, that's a really solid second unit.
I guess we should say, for those that don't know, last night Jamal only played a little bit of the first quarter or something because he had a strained hamstring, or he's been, he's had it. And
he had a quad. Coming into the
game before the Chicago Bulls, so it must have been the Mavericks. I think at the end of that game he got hit in that, or was it even? It might have even been the Timberwolves. One of those games he got hit in the thigh, so he got his right. It was like a contusion on the leg, and then it's just been building up.
Yeah,
so it's good for him to rest.
Probably overcompensating a little bit, trying to
too.
and then came up limp. Only played like 10 minutes last night, but even the Nuggets in that game scored 123 and found a way to win. It's just they have so much. The depth, and we were talking about that second unit being very defensive heavy. The one liability I do see is they need a little bit more scoring off the bench, because you saw that in the Minnesota game when it just went. There was no offensive scoring from that second unit. However, I want to say the emergence of Mr. Michael Porter Jr. this season. My goodness, I know he won't be because it's a Deep West and it's a popularity contest, but he's kind of got that all-star thing coming his way, because that dude is balling. Like, he has the ability to take over the game now. He's always had it, but it's always been like it would come in a flurry. Yeah. This one, it's like, it feels like it's more controlled. He's like looking around. He's like, yo, actually, let me exert myself.
Yeah, I think he's been working on it.
And to your point,
it's been wonderful to see.
It was cool to see it in two different ways. Like last night, he put on a scoring clinic. He had 27 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. Mm-hmm. But in that Dallas game, he was able to do both. Like he had a good offensive game, and he really clamped down. And not saying defensively, he really clamped down on Luka. I don't know what the full stats was. I saw it floating around Twitter a little bit, but basically when he was guarding Luka, Luka was like 1 of 5.
Yeah.
You're talking about somebody in just maybe in the last 18 months to 2 years has become somebody they would almost even say one of the worst defensive people at his position.
Or a liability.
Or defensive liability, to now becoming somebody that we can rotate, we can switch, we can do anything. I can guard Luka, I can guard somebody.
He sees value in it.
Yeah,
he sees value in it with his game. He's tall, he got length, he can shoot, so he's going to become a two-way player. Mm-hmm. I mean that's what it looks like. He wants to be, and anything I think Michael wants to do, he has done it. So I think he's going to be a two-way player. I think he's going to be that third option. Him and AG is going to be back and forth. But there's a stat that said when the 4 of them, Joker, Jamal, AG, and Michael Porter are on the same court, it's hard to beat us at home.
Oh yeah, no doubt. And you left out a 5th person, but this guy is really trending towards
KCP.
Defensive Player of the Month and headed
KCP.
Towards that.
Yeah,
I don't want to leave you out, KCP. I didn't mean to.
For people that don't know, Mike Malone hands out Defensive Player of the Game at least every time we win, for sure.
A big old gigantic
chain that you get to wear, right?
And it says DPOY.
And
POG.
KCP's won it he won it for the first almost week, right? Michael Porter won it against Dallas, and then last night AG and Jokic won it. But for the most part, it's been
the first
KCP.
4 games.
Yeah,
I think
KCP
won it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and since this is this first episode since this moment happened, the banner's up at Ball Arena.
Oh, you guys win, and
we saw it in person.
Yeah, seen it live, and we got 3 of them up there.
How'd you feel? Little tear? Did you tear up or?
No, I didn't tear up. I smiled.
I smiled because it's beautiful, and I know that this team, I'm not satisfied with just one. I think we can do another one. So now I'm like, let's see if we can hang a couple of them. It's beautiful to see that.
You know what it is? It is beautiful to see the first one, and then immediately you think that one looks lonely.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
it's like you just kind of want another one up there, and then you could go from there. Because you look at the Avs, they got 3 of them.
Yeah.
The Mammoth got a couple of them. So it's like,
why not?
They got the team to do it. Exactly.
And we have the best player in the world, and that's what I want to get to next. Nikola Jokic had a soundboard double last night. He had 28 points.
The second one is
9 assists and 16 rebounds against the Bulls.
I mean, he's doing whatever he truly wants to do.
Yeah.
I love, he told Chet to get fat. And because Chet got worked.
And
You know,
Chet was-
Chet got
Homegrown rookie.
yeah.
For people that don't know.
We'll just refer to this man as Chet from here right now.
Right.
Like the deference that you get on this
OKC, right?
podcast
Yes.
have
Okay.
now no longer
Center.
is no
Okay,
longer
right.
as I hope Wemby gives you all the buckets in the world, Mr. Chet Holmgren,
Mm-hmm.
because you stepped to the 2-time MVP and the reigning Finals MVP
Mm.
with some cat and mouse BS, and guess what you got? You got 28 and 14 on your head top. So welcome to the league, bro.
Yeah, he was. You know what I wanted, since we're going off a little bit, I wanted Chet to take that L respectfully.
Oh.
But he kind of said, "Oh, well, I can't get fat if I'm not fat." It's like, bro, you sound lame. If Jokic as who he is, the
Yeah.
best player in the NBA
Yeah.
currently,
Mhm.
is giving you advice on just how to be better, you say you take. He's like, hey,
Ask Giannis.
you
Giannis
take
came
that,
in here
you
thin
take
too.
it, and you say, yes, I can be better. I do need to put on weight. Because guess what? If I'm going to be playing against somebody like Jokic, who I'm in the same division with, so I'm
Yes.
playing 4 times a year.
Same group tournament
I
bracket.
have to become a stronger player. Everybody has to bulk up. Victor Wembanyama, we're going to talk about him later. He's going to need to he's going to get
Absolutely.
bigger over time. And
Absolutely.
if he doesn't,
And if not, ask Giannis.
there's
Giannis
always going to be a
came
guy
in
named Nikola Jokic
the
that's going to
same-
dominate you.
Yeah, he came in the same kind
Or
of
even for that matter,
frame,
Joel
and now
Embiid if
he-
you ever run into
yeah.
him.
all of them.
Quick correction. OKC is not in our in-season tournament
Group.
group.
Okay.
That was misspoke right
Yeah,
there.
but anyway, so yeah, last night Jamal went out, of course, but from the bench, to go back to that, Reggie had 16 points, Christian Brown had 10 points, we had Peyton Watson with 2, and we actually got a showing from Colin Gillespie too. So he made his
let's talk
NBA
about
debut.
Yeah,
him.
congrats to
congrats, CG. Yeah, he did well too. I
He played
think
well,
they
yeah,
were
for what it's worth.
they were helping him along, giving him to make sure he got the ball and did his thing. But that's gonna be big help. That was my point I was gonna make. There's others on the bench that we know, CG's the first one off that they could do Pickett.
Or
They-
CB rather.
Yep. No,
Oh, you talking deep bench.
I'm talking deep bench.
Okay.
Okay,
To
we're
help with-
talking deep bench
I'm
now.
talking deep bench, and I'm talking to help us with some offense. Because the guys that are left, Strother, those are they shoot their offensive.
I mean, last episode I was high on Julian, and I still think that he has all the potential in the world. Just right now, the rotation,
He's a rookie.
he's just not seeing the court at the moment to be an influence. And then that deep bench, those are blowouts. Those are blowout players at this point because Hunter Tyson.
But, so what helps?
They came in. Pickett had a nice 3 at the end of the Chicago
But
game.
what
Pickett
helps
loves
you?
to take- he's
but
gonna
what's
get
They
gonna
all
help
just
you-
take threes. They all kind of come in and just hawk
Yeah,
up
I
threes,
know.
and
Yeah.
then Julian Strother dribbles at the clock. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like, and last night they would have got more playing time, but God rest their souls, the Chicago Bulls just did not want to.
Yeah.
They didn't call out the dogs, and bless their hearts, like they were coming off a back-to-back
Mm.
2. They had a fly play at altitude. Their legs forsake them in the
They
second
got
half.
in or hurt about 3 a.m. or something.
Yeah,
like that,
and
too.
then they
It
had to
was-
play
they had to
Nikola
play
Jokic.
Nikola,
Yeah.
But
Tough.
I guess what I'm asking is you said about the bench they have the defense, but they're not as offensively,
Okay.
going to contribute like we want them. We wouldn't be looking for another person.
So who can come up and be
who
that?
could come
Okay.
up from that deep bench we're talking about to be that
I would
person?
say-
'Cause
I would
we're
say
gonna need
Julian.
it. We're
I'd
gonna
say
need
Julian,
I'd say
but he
Julian.
has to commit to playing defense, and this is just a Mike Malone thing.
it. No, I
Yeah.
understand.
If you can't guard 1 through 5 or
I
switch
understand.
and all that, you're gonna have a hard time playing
Honestly-
on a Nuggets roster.
Honestly, I think that's how you make, breaking news here. But that's how you catch the eye of Mr. Michael Malone.
Yes, it is.
I think that's how CB did it last
Yes,
year,
he did.
and then others in the past have
And
done
Peyton.
that. If
And
you
how Michael
He
and
called-
Peyton,
he
Peyton,
called-
Peyton,
too,
yeah,
'cause Michael
He
PY.
called
been
him
able to
out
play
really
Yeah.
at a press conference.
100%.
Michael Malone called him out at a press conference. His
Yeah.
first game, he didn't
Yeah.
really do that. He was trying to do what most rookies or most first time want to impress, get theirs and get their scores and then all of that. And he just said, we really do need you to be
Same reason why Brucey B used to close
There you
out
go.
games because you could rely on
rely
him.
on him to do a certain thing.
Play
So,
defense.
and we know you have it in you, Peyton. And he responded. The very next time he hit the court, you see was
We know
So
Well,
Julian wants to
yeah.
see the court, just to close
Right.
this out. If Julian wants you to see the court, start playing defense at practice, show
Yeah.
out, just start knowing all your assignments, and if you play that, you'll catch the attention. You might get some PT.
And we haven't talked about Najee.
And
He's
that's
part
what I was
of
about
that
to
bench.
say. And I'll say part of another person on the bench that's been playing and doing well on defensively has been Najee. I forget what game there's 5 games in 7 nights. A lot of them starting to blend.
I love that he's
But there was one game
he's
where
more consistent than I've ever seen him.
Najee was balling out a little
Yeah,
bit
I was
on the
like,
second
yes.
unit. I was
Mhm.
like, okay, so this is if we can get this from Najee, even on that second unit as they rotate and play, I can live with it.
But you know what we're describing? Consistency. When you know what you have to do when you go in the game. You know, most teams I watch, and we watch a lot of basketball. Most teams I watch, it's helter-skelter from one game to the next. They don't know what to do. They don't know what plays are going to be called. You know, if you play with Joker, you better be cutting.
You better cut.
You better cut because he's going to find you and give you the ball and you're happy. And you should know if you're on the bench, you got to play defense to stay on that bench and then do your your shots.
And Peyton Watson saw it firsthand from Jokic yesterday when he was cutting and he got that huge dunk.
Yes.
That was, and he might even stole that I don't know what that pass was going to him, but he came and jumped it like a cornerback in the NFL and slammed it like he was Zion Williamson.
He was.
It was a great sequence of basketball.
Yeah, so I guess you got to have what we're describing is you got to be team oriented, you got to have defense, and you got to be selfless. You know, you got to learn, and then you find your spots. AG found his. Michael Porter found his. Yeah. And so now we're benefiting.
And before we go on, can we talk a little bit about the Dallas game too? Because I think that Dallas game was my favorite game of the year so far from the Nuggets. Just from start to finish. The Nuggets came out and scored like 40 points in the first quarter. You had Michael Porter balling out. Jamal was mad effective. And Jamal was diamond. He had 13 assists. So you're getting 13 assists from Jamal and you're getting 9 from Yoke. And then Aaron Gordon.
Yes.
I'm surprised.
I know. Janet didn't talk
big
about
on Aaron Gordon train.
Yes.
You haven't said much about him. He had 18-6 and
he's been
he had
all
18, 8 and 6
They've
in
been
that
spectacular.
game. So you're talking about a team that was playing for each other in a lot of ways. With all those assists that were getting passed off.
Yeah.
And it was a phenomenal game from start to finish. We talked a little bit about Michael Porter. But what from that game were you really impressed about?
I was impressed that the Mavericks had been playing their best ball. They hadn't won, they were undefeated coming in for this. I mean, granted it was a few games, but they were other people had lost, and we could talk about them next.
They're undefeated.
He was undefeated. So that was a good team coming in here with a really special player that could be an MVP in this league in one day.
Should be.
And we're coming off a loss. Too.
And
so part of it was go ahead.
Yes, no, I'm just saying that game had all the stuff that you want to see in the team. You know, we wanted them to do well, and you're saying they came out. Not only did they come out fast, they came out ready to take that game from a really good team. And
I don't know if it had anything to do with the end-season tournament. I just think the Nuggets truly wanted to play better. They saw a team that they really wanted to compare. Early in the season, a good team came through, and they wanted to show that.
And it just happened to be in.
Yeah, it just happened to be.
It had to be the end-season tournament. Yes.
Which was very helpful.
Yeah.
Because it goes against its regular season and in the tournament, so they're off to a good start in the tournament.
What do you think about it? I mean, that first night, did you like it?
Yeah, I mean, we can switch to a little bit, not Nuggets.
Yeah,
but
not Nuggets.
We can still keep it in the Nuggets because that Nuggets court, I don't know, did you like the court? Did you enjoy it?
It grew on me.
It was a little bit of an eyesore at first.
Looked like a little backgammon game.
Yeah, it did. It was funny because I didn't like the jerseys at first.
Yeah.
When I seen them on the court, I was like, goodness, the court looks a little too much. The
you know how it is. You have something you don't like, but then you put it on somebody that, you see it on a famous person, or you see it on Joker's body, or your favorite team out there playing in them. Yeah. Say, oh, they're okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's probably what
we met a Nuggets dancer, and she said it was like dancing in a video game.
Oh,
because it was like so different. Like you're on this very vibrant blue court.
Yes.
I think all of them are kind of weird, and I think next year if you want to do it, but
Chicago's was the worst.
But it's just the red on red.
Red on red with an orange basketball. It's stupid.
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough. I mean, we're talking about it.
Yeah.
And not just us, everybody on national media, local, at the bars, the restaurants. So it worked.
The PR team was saying
and since it's the first one, now you know what to do.
Yeah.
And not if this is this season, sure we'll eat it. But like next season, just do the strip. Do the strip with the cup in the down the lanes. That looked good. Like if you just do that, and every team has their own color, and you can still tell, if that's the way. But the vibrant reds, the vibrant greens, the vibrant blues. It's just, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot to the viewer. Yeah. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. And I know it's like Dory just keep winning, right? I know that's how you do in this tournament. But how does it work? So the Nuggets win this game. They play another. You play 2 at home.
It's a round robin.
Round robin.
You have 4 games in your group.
Best 2 teams move, or just one team from
best 2.
Best 2 teams move.
It's a 4 game for everybody in the group.
Yeah.
Okay, in the group, then that best 2 go on to next level.
And then single elimination.
Yeah, and then
So just keep winning. That's the moral story.
Yeah, just keep winning.
All right, let's switch over to the Suns losing to Wemby twice.
Well, first of all, did we have a Bradley Beal sighting yet? No. Okay,
But
not at all.
it was back at
And poor
up for a quick
KD.
second.
I love KD. I love KD. But KD can't.
It's hard to play by himself.
Thank you.
He came there to play with D-Book,
And he has
who's
great
been out the
numbers.
last couple of games,
Yes.
and Bradley Beal.
Yeah.
When Bradley Beal signed or got traded to the Suns, everyone was like, "Oh, they're going to be formidable." I say, if Bradley Beal
Look at
plays,
Beal, yeah,
Bradley
yeah.
Beal never played.
Yeah.
Even you know what's supposed to be formidable in the East for years? John Wall and Bradley Beal. But guess what?
Yeah.
KD.
No, I'll let the listener finish it. But Bradley Beal didn't play.
Right.
Like my God, it's the tale as old as time. And when he does play, he hoops out, no doubt. And I
So,
hope he
yes.
gets healthy. I
Yes,
really do.
The Phoenix Suns, lost to teams. San Antonio
The same
twice.
team.
However, that wasn't the fun Suns yet because we have not had one game that all the pieces and parts. And I know it's not their fault you play. Who's in front of you? I get all that. But that's what I would say.
I would say the same thing I said last year. I wasn't ever scared of the Suns because of injuries.
Yeah, right.
And Chris has only alluded to it more. Christoph has only alluded to it more. That these jokers get hurt all the time.
They do.
And whether it's KD, because KD can find a way to get hurt too. I know he's out there.
Don't
now.
laugh at that.
No, I'm being serious.
These are facts,
'cause
but don't laugh.
No, because the moment the Suns
Yeah.
when they got KD and it was Devin Booker and we were lined up to get in trouble last year.
Unfortunately.
What did I say on the podcast? I said I'm not worried about the Suns because I knew they needed time to gel.
Yes.
I knew they needed time to play
together.
together and then stay healthy
Yeah,
together.
that's true. No.
And then above all, they still don't have an answer for Jokic. So
No,
Nurkic is a good basketball player,
he's a great
but he's
basketball
struggling
player.
against Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah, he did.
and,
Yeah.
and speaking of Wemby,
Oh yeah.
just Janet, what do you have to say? Because it seems like you
I-
don't want to stamp him as a good as who.
I don't want to add any more to the hype fire because it's enough without me even saying anything. I think that I want to wait and see how he goes over a period of time, not a week, and not his beginnings, and then it's just a lot of hype to me. He's probably a really good kid. He's only 19. Okay, I think he's a little small. He's framed. Okay, he's tall, of course. I mean. So we'll see him.
Joker,
I understand, and I'll get more out of it then. But right now, I reserve my, I just want to watch him. I'm not saying he's good, bad, up, down, not good, or any of that. I just want to watch him and see. Ask me in January.
You're like Shaq.
Ask
You
me
seen
in
somebody
38 and 10.
I understand. Who did he play? Who was he playing?
The Suns.
Okay.
At the Suns.
Yeah, well, we just said.
And then
we just
followed
said
it up
was
today.
Pieces and parts of the Suns
But
team.
that was still what it was.
Okay.
And he came back the one on Halloween night.
Mhm.
They came back from 20.
Yeah.
So
stole the ball,
had a very good down the stretch. Then today, November 5th, had 20 points, 9
And
rebounds,
lost the game
and
to
lost. Yeah.
Toronto.
Which is I get the reserve and we'll do this, but to sit here and tell me that this dude is not
I'm not saying that.
a
I'm not
phenomenal
saying that.
basketball player and
I
you already
can't-
see the potential and upside, like this dude's, he doesn't have, like a lot of players come in the league, and I'll say names, like Zion or Andrew Wiggins,
Yes.
or hell, even like Dante Exum, and their names, precede them and they're going to be all this. Michael Porter Jr., you could throw him in there.
Right.
And their trajectory goes at like various exit velocities, they would say in baseball, like angles off the bat.
Yes.
His is at a very, it's not hyperbolic, but he's like on course with he's one of those guys. He's a transcendent. He's got it all.
I say prove it. I'm not
He's
saying he is.
He's an attraction. He's an attraction for the league, and they need that right now because LeBron's in his final stages. This is he's at the end. He's closer to the end at 21 seasons than at the beginning.
If there was
That's
no
just a fact
Wemby,
of life.
we would have a face.
Yes.
But you're describing as the face of the NBA, come behind LeBron. There's a numerous amounts of people.
I think
But
Well,
as LeBron was
obviously,
the face, there was
Giannis,
plenty of other
obviously.
faces. He shared the league for
Embiid,
multiple years with. It's a
Maxey.
beautiful thing.
No,
I want to just hold off on that.
Now you're going far with Matt.
See,
No,
okay, this is the same person that doesn't believe in Wemby.
I've seen-
He's bringing
I've
Maxey
seen-
to a face
but-
of the league
no,
party.
no.
Jason Tatum's a face of the
I have
league.
seen Maxey for years now.
Okay.
Play in playoffs.
Warning,
I've seen Wemby
we have a
play
Maxey
in the
truther.
NBA for 5 days or for 7 days or 1 week and a half.
I'll say this about Wemby.
I'm telling you.
You're 7+ feet.
7'4".
7'4" to be exact. Good.
Yeah,
Thank you for the
thank you.
numbers. And Kendrick Perkins said this, and I don't know why I'm even talking about it, but he brought up a good point. Bro, there should never be a time you step on a court
and you don't get some rebounds. Yeah.
You're 7'4", and if that's where his next game's gonna change. All right, bro, you can play around the arc all day long, but Jokic is the best, not just because he can hit threes, but Jokic can bang in there, turn around. He has all the moves of like a Hakeem Olajuwon in the paint with the ability to score. Victor needs to do that.
But if you ask Victor, if he's a center, what would he say to you?
They say
depends on what Pop says. That's probably
I don't know.
No.
I heard him say he doesn't want to play the center
go.
position.
But
guess what? You ain't gonna win a championship not playing the center
And-
position, so you better get used to it.
Yes.
And Pop comes from the age of
we get it.
he knows what a center looks like, even though
you guys are making my point.
he'll confirm.
I will wait and see.
He'll confirm. But if he has like a Anthony Davis, Dwight Howard, Giannis Antetokounmpo, where he puts on mass, he puts on build, puts on muscle. I don't know. Look out. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
All right. Let's switch over to Indiana, Christoph. We watched it a little bit last night.
Do I have to?
Can you just set the frame?
Well,
just
because we went there to see.
Let me start with pleasantries. Tyrese Halliburton. Please stop laughing.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's just factual. Here it is. This is just fact. No, I really do think they're a good team. They're 3-3, off to a hot start. They got Brucey B, and last night something happened that has never happened since they started taking track of it. Tyrese Halliburton had 25 and 5 in one quarter. That has no player has done that.
First quarter, or something like that.
I don't know. I think it was the second or third.
Yeah, whatever. Okay.
He had 43.
In a quarter. He had 25 and 5 in a quarter.
A quarter.
Okay.
No one has ever done that before. So that's a very impressive
on
stat.
that team.
No,
Or just
the league. Yeah, that's facts. That's a factual quote or a factual stat, and very impressive. He had 43 on the game, but the last minute and a half of that game was just they played the Hornets on Saturday night, and the way that this clock management, everything down the stretch just was miserable. They miss a layup. They get an and one. Buddy Hield misses the layup. They're down 125, 124. Some chaos ensues. They get the ball back with 15 seconds to go. Make a long story short. Dude dribbles out the clock. Has 15 seconds, 15.9 seconds. Dribble. Lose my dribble. Get my dribble back. Now LaMelo Ball, who did not want to defend him initially, was like, okay, there's only 9 seconds. I don't think this dude realizes there's 9 seconds left. Let me play some defense.
Yeah.
Then he starts to get, mind you, he has not tried to slash. He has not tried to go towards the rim or even look for a shot.
And they needed to get ahead.
Yes,
and
a shot, any shot, a 2, a 3 would have won the game.
Okay.
And that's, old heads and like Charles Barkley and people would be like, this is what's wrong with the NBA is that we'd rather take a 35-foot jumper to win the game than try to go down the lane and get to the hoop because you could barely touch
Brucey B in the middle of the court,
wide
open.
I
saw his face.
But
I saw Brucey B's face and he was like, "Oh, you gotta be kidding me."
I couldn't believe what I saw. That's all it was. It was just like from a player so talented and so good. And like I said, he did something no one has ever done before. Have 43 on the game just to do that. Sidebar. R.I.P. Bobby Knight. I know the man came with a lot of stuff, but he was a basketball legend, and I know Indiana lost a real one, but I just wanted to say that really fast. Back to Halliburton. That dude, sure, bro. I think he's good, but for Indiana to be the team I thought they were going to be this season,
they got to learn how to close out a game.
Yes, and I hope Brucey B brings that to them and just has that energy.
If they listen.
We'll see.
We'll
see. There's plenty of teams like that this season.
Speaking of your prediction of Indiana being a solid team, in general, what team has, outside the Nuggets, have you looked at and said, hey, this team looks good? Or the opposite, this team looks worse than
I can tell you the bad one first is Memphis. Oh, my goodness. And
they don't have Ja, caveat.
I get it, but it's just going to be a tough.
I wonder whose fault that
Did they win any games yet? I think they didn't win a game yet.
Guns, bro.
I don't think they've won a game.
So you saying Memphis is who you?
That's
I'm
very disappointing.
I'm disappointed. Yeah, 0-6.
Well, I'll take the easy one on the board because it's the same team I said from the jump, but Boston. Everything about Boston, I think they're going to be good.
Yeah.
And they've only proven to be good still.
They are. They have.
Jason
they
Tatum's
gelling.
cooking.
Yep.
They got
Jalen Brown's cooking.
They literally switched to the best defensive point guard in the whole NBA.
Oh, the whole NBA.
And they put him on their team.
Yes, they
So
did.
it's like, of course they're playing as well.
Porzingis has been hooping.
And Porzingis has been hooping.
And that Porzingis, are we going to put him in a bucket that he has to stay healthy?
Yeah, he's
Okay.
got to stay healthy.
that too.
Is he as egregious as Bradley Beal? No.
Okay.
But
he's
but he has.
He needs to stay healthy.
that's the team I took from the East. The team that I took from the West, I'll say, besides the Nuggets, is the Warriors.
wow. That's what I was gonna
actually
say.
Okay, on my fault. Go ahead, you can go into it. Then.
I just think they look good.
They look surprisingly good for what it's
yeah,
worth.
I thought they. I mean, I still think they're too
You know
slow.
why? Draymond told you.
CP3.
No dissension, no chaos, no nothing.
No KD.
that he was a part of.
What did he say? Something
No
about
KD, no
around the
Poole.
lines of we just were fighting too much last year.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
brother, you was the guy that did this.
Everybody, don't you know we saw you,
Yeah.
bro? Like you threw the punch.
Yeah, he said, man, the chemistry was just off
my
last year.
God.
Brother, you played at least the 50%
I
of
think
this.
it got it down to the main people. We're back to the big three: him, Clay, and Steph. That's what he wanted, and he
That's
got
what he
it.
wanted.
And Looney.
Yeah.
And no way,
Yeah,
and Looney. But I mean that he tried to pick a fight with KD. I mean, he just
Anytime that third person tries to come into that.
that frame.
I mean, he's like, we got a good thing going.
Yeah, we gotta get it going.
And honestly,
He's got
they did the worst thing to Mr. Jordan Poole. They sent him to, I don't even know. This is below purgatory. He's in Washington. They're 1-4 right now, so that kind of tells you where their season's
what's
going.
crazy, and I'm gonna be done with this. We can go end the show, but Washington was throwing off the backboard alley-oops to him, and it was Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma throwing off the backboard. They're down by 20, throwing off the backboard alley-oops.
Honestly,
That's the epitome of where he's
what a
at
tandem.
NBA purgatory.
What a tandem. Kuzma and Poole.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what
Well,
an island.
I'm gonna say one other team, and we didn't say it. They're okay. They're doing fine. They could do better. And that's Philly. You know, they lost one game. They're 4-1. Okay,
Yeah.
but
You're
I
Maxey.
think that Maxey is now able to. We didn't even talk about James Harden.
I knew. I didn't care to.
I understand, but James Harden got moved to
The Clippers.
and there's not enough ball over there for all those people. Okay, they have Kawhi. They have Paul George.
They have Bones.
They have Bones. They have Russell. Well, Bones is at the end of the four.
Yeah, man.
No,
Yeah.
I just think it's funny because Bones left because he wasn't getting playing time.
Yes.
And now the team he left needs his playing time.
You're right.
And they already got a ring.
I know it.
But it's all good.
But I
You
believe
made
he
a
gets a
pimp
ring.
decision,
But he
homie.
gets a ring too, though.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And he gets paid, so shout out to him.
Yeah, but
And he gets to live in L.A.
But now, gets to live in LA. It's warmer and all of that. But he is not going to see that ball because it's 4 people is going to be asking the man. And James Harden already told us he's the system.
honest,
He's the system.
Ball
Did you hear that?
PG ain't gonna see that ball the
No.
way the other dudes be carrying the rock down the
Oh,
Yeah.
my
We'll see how
goodness.
that works out. I pray for Tyronn Lue. Let's do that.
Yeah.
I like out the East, Orlando. Surprise,
You
surprise.
always have.
But the
Like,
thing is, why I like them, they do have good talent, and it's kind of like gelling a little bit. If you're paying any attention to what
We
they're
took their
doing
best
down in
talent,
Central
you know.
Florida. Huh?
We took their best talent.
But they got Paulo Banchero, who
Yes, that's
I'm
true.
starting to see it a little bit.
Okay.
Last year I was more like you with Wemby, and I was like, I don't see it yet.
Uh-huh.
But this season I see the growth in him. Scoring 9 points, he's way
could
too
do better,
talented to
yeah,
do that.
yeah.
But then he had a good night against the Lakers.
Who lost?
Huh?
The Lakers lost too.
They beat the Magic.
To the
The
Magic.
couple, Saturday night I want to say. So the Magic, they're a mid-level team.
Yeah,
But I like them to maybe make a push for a play-in spot,
yeah. And I'll finish my
along with Indiana.
Yeah, I'll finish my comment about Philly. I think that Embiid and Maxey will gel enough, and they just got to get that third person to go with them, and they'll be fine.
I think Embiid's in a cool spot this year where the spotlight's not going to be on him. Only thing that's going to matter is whether you can win a championship or not. The stats don't matter what he puts up. It doesn't. He can play the way he wants to. He can play healthy. He can play relaxed.
Look what I just found right
Only
here,
thing
Kyle.
that matters is April for him,
Yo,
What is
Dot,
that?
and that's sometimes a good place to be.
I found a crystal ball.
Okay.
He won't win a championship this year. He won't. It's just not going to happen. And here's why. 2 points in Game 7. Next
When the going gets
next
tough.
topic.
in the playoffs last year.
With that being
For those that
said-
don't know, in the playoffs, he's talking about the playoffs last year.
With that being said, we'll go to the 2
Minutes
minutes remaining.
remaining.
2 minutes remaining.
So, in case you didn't, you've been living under a rock the last year.
Yeah.
The Nuggets won the NBA championship.
Oh, great.
And because we are
That was the parade that we went to.
because we
That's
are
the
the
banner that you saw.
defending champions,
Yes.
it only makes sense that you need to watch the defending champions documentary that just came out recently
Yes.
called Bring It Home.
Bring it on.
And that Bring It Home is really, really good.
It's really good.
I
Especially
know
if you're a fan.
I'm incredibly biased and
We're
all
fans.
that.
Yes.
But just to see the Nuggets go from what they did last year, and even before that, we've been around a long time, whether you're with Alex English,
Mm-hmm.
the Melo era,
Yeah.
the post with Iguodala and all that.
Yeah.
Just those teams that didn't make it. And to see this team,
Yeah.
the way they gelled and came together, Jamal hitting that shot in Portland that just really put him back on the map. He narrates the whole thing.
After he got
Jamal Murray
came back from his
narrates
injury.
the entire documentary.
Mhm.
It is a great watch. Christoph, if you can put that into the notes or something for the people that are listening,
Yeah,
just to
drop
watch it. It's like it's
in
maybe 50 minutes of your time, but it's spectacular.
Yeah, because there's segments, right? They're
Yeah.
like how many segments? 6.
Yeah.
Something
Well,
like
the
that?
full documentary is now out, and that's what I'll put into the
Okay.
show notes. I don't know. It's cool to see a season you watch, witnessed, memorialized, and to see a little bit behind the curtain what they're thinking, what they're going through,
Mhm.
and I think fans who were on the roller coaster, you get to re-experience, but it's also kind of interesting because we were on that ride with them as well, because we knew, if you're a Nuggets fan, you knew this day was coming.
It's coming. You can see
it
it
would-
coming for years.
You could smell it, and
Yeah.
they knew it too. They're like, when we got through. They didn't really mention that Portland year when they got to the second
Well, they
round.
did mention. I thought that year
They mentioned that
when we
game
got
82.
beat, that game that we just couldn't get it done, and
Yeah.
then that next year was the beginning of us just.
Yeah, then they
saying-
talked about the bubble, obviously.
Yeah,
The next year,
Yeah.
tragedy strikes.
2019 was really the year where you saw this
that
team
that
can win
could
a
this year
championship
win a championship.
if they get everything in place. You knew that Jamal was a good,
Yeah.
great basketball player.
Right.
You saw Nikola Jokic,
And we had gotten
was a great
AG.
basketball player. You know, the other thing that was cool about that documentary is you kind of see different things. You saw what needed to take place in order for the Nuggets to win, right?
Yes.
Even though it sucked that Jamal went down, there was a learning curve and a greatness curve that Nikola Jokic had to become in
Yes.
order for us to win. He had
Sure.
to become a 2-time MVP.
Right.
He had to figure out how to lead a team where he doesn't have a second Batman or a Robin next to him in Jamal Murray.
Mm-hmm.
He had to build that chemistry with AG, who was coming from a totally different team,
different.
who
Mhm.
was the main guy on his other team
Correct.
to figure out how to be a role player.
Yeah.
We had to do all these small things
Yeah.
that really made a difference. So when you come together last
Yes.
year, it
Well,
all
you know the other
happened.
thing too. We knew there were certain things that you had to have to win a championship. We knew that you had to have a power forward that was just going to be good, and we knew that you have to have 3-point shooters. We knew that you have to have defenders that would do it well, and that documentary showed you how we built it.
Yeah.
And that was evident, and I love that because we lived it. And that we were like, yep, we got that, we did that, we got KCP, we got
And
we got
Bruce
we got
Brown.
Bruce Brown, and we knew that's why we named it last year. The first pod we had to do this with championship series.
Yeah.
Season.
And even though we were new to podcasting, we had been talking Nuggets for so long,
Right.
and we knew that
They had
all
all
these
the
things
pieces
were
that come
coming up. So
together.
that championship mentality,
Right.
it was there. And it was clear that
We had the right
this
coach.
team,
We had this, that.
yeah,
They knew each
and
other.
even the small things like Calvin Booth taking over for
Sure.
Tim Conley.
Thank
Right.
God.
Because you knew you needed somebody that was going to pull a trigger
Yeah.
and get a KCP.
Yeah.
Who wasn't attached to
Who wanted to win?
No, who wanted to win, but who wasn't attached to old players like a Will
Correct.
Barton and all those that you thought, hey, we can win with these guys.
Uh-huh. And
Even
then-
though they're great players,
Yes.
you needed to move them out so you could get it. Because that's a hard choice. And I know we're going into a little bit, but to move Monte Morris,
Yes,
who was
was
a
hard.
key,
And
he
Gary
was
Harris
Mr.
and-
Nugget before AG was
Yeah,
Mr. Nugget.
yes,
so you
no
had
doubt.
him, and to get rid of him, to know that you needed somebody like a KCP who's a D and 3 guy.
Yes.
that would work perfectly with
and also
Jokic.
had won a championship that could bring that
And brought a championship.
those things that those intangibles.
And then you had the vets. Then you had the vets who
You had all the
hadn't
vets.
won one, but they knew
They
know
were
what
hungry.
championship and winning looks
And
like.
they were hungry,
They know
yeah.
culture.
Yeah.
It was
the
definitely,
culture.
and all of that's in that.
Yeah.
All of it's in it, and
All
it's
of it's in
excellent.
there.
And to bring it back to and to close it a
To
little
bring it
bit,
home.
to bring it home, and that's why I call this one the Rockets, the Clyde Drexler year, because what's gonna happen for them to repeat? They need someone to come in with that hunger, and now that person who's coming in they just need the talent, the scoring ability, and the desire to get a
Do you
championship.
think that's that one person you've been talking about? From
I
the
do
beginning
think
of
it's
this
gonna. I
series?
think that's what I feel this year. That's what I feel with this Nuggets team.
That we just need
It's
that
that they
guy.
need one person, and it's like we know you're entering into, like Kyle said, a room with championship DNA.
Yes.
Because it's been molded through fire to get here.
correct.
Kind of, Golden State's kind of did it with KD.
Yeah.
And Chris Paul's trying to get the lingering effects of that. He's like, y'all still got no championships,
Yeah, right.
type stuff. That type of stuff. And that's why I said the only thing I can really think about is like Clyde Drexler coming in and helping the Rockets get their second
There's some
straight.
good players on some good teams that aren't being used. Even
They
what we
sure
saw
are.
with Jeff Green, he's not being used at all.
No. Which is sad. I don't understand that. I said that last night to Kyle. To Dot. It's like, how do you go from playing meaningful minutes at the
I
NBA
know.
Finals to sitting the bench on a
On a-
2 and some odd team?
Yeah.
Like, and it's not ability.
Yeah.
That's coaching.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah.
But get your check, my guy.
Yeah.
Texas, no
They don't
state
know
income
they're
tax.
missing because he's a glue guy. He's a glue
Yeah,
guy.
sometimes you have those teams that just want to get other people involved and get them moving in
Yeah.
the NBA.
Yeah.
Well, with that being said, anyways, the Nuggets play the Pelicans tomorrow. Should be a great game.
Yeah.
I think Pelicans have been playing. I haven't really watched it. Didn't CJ McCollum go down?
Sadly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sadly.
so
Yeah, he has
We'll,
had
we'll keep
lung
his
issues.
family in our thoughts and
We're
prayers.
praying for you, CJ.
And the Nuggets will play the Pelicans tomorrow. Is that looks like it's in Ball Arena? Maybe I'm mistaken. We'll see. But yeah, it's been a great podcast from the Just Nuggets podcast. I am K-Dot Colley, your favorite podcast point guard.
I'm Janet.
We have just Janet.
JJ, just Janet.
Christoph, later. Follow us on X.
Also,